All right.
Yes.
Well, here we are. Hi, Taylor. How are you?
Hello, I'm lovely. How are you today?
I'm good. You know why? In part because today I'm not freezing. We've had such shit weather for the last little while. It got all the way down to almost freezing, but not today. So I'm happy.
Ah, nice, nice. Early spring.
So
Hmm.
lots happening in Alabama this week,
Oh,
and then we
so
only had a little
much.
king come by. So we'll talk about this. But like, what's going on down your way?
Oh, it's crazy. We had the a great art exhibition here at the mill this past weekend. May Pang.
Hmm.
She spent the John Lennon's Lost Weekend, which was 18 months,
Right.
with him, and she had this great, I guess, behind the scenes photography.
Uh-huh. She
Um,
was a lover for a while
as
there,
love,
right?
yes. So she had
Yeah.
all the backstage gossip and
Uh-huh.
tea and
Uh-huh.
pictures with Elton John and Harry Nilsson, and it was
Oh
just
yeah.
this rock royalty, and it was her telling her story that you had never heard before. All you know about is Yoko Ono,
Right.
and that crazy screaming bitch. I'm not a fan, but
No,
um, Mei
clearly.
Ping was cool and down to earth, and
Uh-huh.
it was a beautiful story what she did for his family. And she has a documentary, I believe it's on Amazon, The Long Weekend, a love story. So highly recommend checking that out.
Oh well, we'll put the link in the thing, yeah, so people
Yes,
can see
especially if
it.
you're a Beatles fan.
Hmm.
It's beautiful and it's heartbreaking and just it was the highlight for the shitty week of everything else going on in Alabama.
Right. Well, no, I'm glad you have that. Like, I'm not a huge Beatles fan. I like them, but like,
Do you like
not
Elvis?
eh, not
Okay,
even.
I
Yeah.
find down here it's either you like the Beatles or you like Elvis. It's one or the other.
Yeah. It is like Boy George and Michael Jackson back in the 80s. I remember that. There was
There,
that big dichotomy there. I was a Boy George
right?
fan. But
Okay.
anyway, we accidentally went when I had the kids in London, in England once, going to the place on Baker Street where Sherlock Holmes was, and apparently like right next door, we didn't know this. We bumped into this because my kids are big Beatles fans. They were anyway. And
Oh,
there's this massive, the world's biggest Beatles store on
oh,
Baker Street right there. So if you're in London, you have to see that. And if you ever come to Montreal, you have to go to the Queen Elizabeth Hotel downtown, which is
oh.
where Yoko Ono and John Lennon had their bed in for a
Love
while.
in, yes.
Yeah. So there's a little exhibit in the lobby of that
Oh,
hotel, and I think they've preserved some part of the. Anyways, it's a
uh,
thing for Beatles fans.
I
So I'm
I
glad
didn't
you
know
had
that
that.
I didn't know that Yo-Yo Ono was still alive. Apparently, she's recluse.
Hmm.
Wikipedia doesn't have her dead yet, but nobody's seen her in years.
Oh, oh
So
well.
yeah, yeah. The more you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you're losing a senator and possibly gaining a
uh,
governor. What's happening with Tommy Tuberville?
obviously, the least possible is what's happening with Tommy Tuberville. That's going to be our default governor because
Uh-huh.
he's
Uh,
the Republican. There's nobody opposing it or could oppose
mm.
in this state. So we're going to have this bought and paid for idiot. I mean, look at his rap sheet. It's
And very
running
very much of a Trump guy, is he?
right. Like
Right.
his past is more checkered than mine is, and that's saying a lot.
Ooh.
Like
Ooh.
it's yeah. Just vote me for governor. If you just don't give a shit. Like we,
Well, or
I
have
mean,
even better than because I wouldn't want you in the governor's mansion because that would be a miserable experience for you, and I don't want to lose you. But like, there's a good independent candidate that's running again for governor. His name is Chad Martin, Chad Martin, and I'll put a link to his
oh
website. I
yeah,
met him at a Rock the Vote event in Huntsville a couple of years ago,
yay, Chad
and yeah,
Martin.
he's a guy, he's a musician, and he has a business that's related to hemp products. And I forget the details. And just this guy who's decided that Alabamians deserve better than what they've got right now. So I'm like,
and
you go.
and it comes with skincare.
Yes, it
Yes,
does. Uh-huh.
trust a man who knows his skincare.
I one of my Alabama friends says that won't name him, but he says that it's apparently, and you tell me if that's true, it's a Southern tradition to keep your idiots close to home. And so in a way, this move is
Right.
Yeah, it goes with
Right.
that. It keeps that tradition alive. Let's put it this way. So now Katie Britt will become the senior senator for Alabama, and I know that some of my viewers may
Mm.
say, "That's that name rings a faint bell." So she was the one who
Yes.
became famous, including up here. It was a few years ago when she did a response. Do you call it the response to the the speech of the State of the Union
State of
address?
the Union when oh
And she was in the kitchen being all trad wifey, and I know it was like and the kitchen had not a spot of dust or anything. And me and my however many kids she's got with this husband of hers, and it's like, no, this is not your kitchen. This cannot, like, you're trying to play that role of being like the good trad wife, and there's not a speck of dust in your house. Like, I am not buying it one bit. And I'll put a link to this, and I'm going to show it to
please
you too,
do.
because there's a
And then
video here
w-
of Pierre Poilievre, our defeated former, mini Trumpian guy, who is
yes.
back with a video in which he's holding a visibly empty coffee cup and pretending to take
Hmm.
sips from it. And everyone's being distracted by this. Like, why would you
Bizarre.
have that in your video? If you want people to pay attention to your message, don't create distractions like this. Allow people to
Mm.
focus on your message. Anyway.
We love a distraction down here.
Yeah.
That's all we get in the social media and the videos.
So, what? Tell me about. So, I saw you sent me that story,
Ah,
and I noticed it before about police forces, local police forces in some
yes.
counties in Alabama, pairing with ICE, which is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, right?
Right. Right.
Right, the
Right.
folks who pluck illegal immigrants, I guess, and throw them out,
Right.
or detain them, or do all kinds of. And I'm like, so isn't ICE already kind of a police force? What is going on?
Okay, so I'm starting to get nervous, and I'm not one to spook easy. I live in the city, and I don't really take things for granted. But ICE is trying to, I guess, swear in the good old boys here in Alabama. So you might not have an ICE department, if you will, over in Morgan County. So they're going to say that the sheriffs or anybody that sheriffs deputize or police or law enforcement would have privileges that ICE has, and they get to decide that on their level at their discretion. And that's kind of scary. We did that, in the 50s and 60s, good old boys by day, and we dressed up by night to do policing here in Alabama against the blacks. And it wasn't much different with the police and the homosexuals in the 80s. And so now you've got this good old boy mentality that we're going to round them up for a third time in Alabama. It's a little frightening to me.
So if I understand this right, ICE folks have the power to go into a workplace, for instance, and look for undocumented
Right. Show up in
people who
the
work in the
night.
kitchen, right?
Yes.
Ask, where are your papers? Show me that you're legal. Here, your
Right.
status is legal.
But
And
it's
so
not a
local bumpkin cops from
that
backwater
part.
county
That part.
behind the mountain over there could have the power to go and enforce immigration laws. That's
Right.
not sure. And then as we've seen, like, due
You
process
know,
has kind of gone out the window. So,
it's
like,
hard to come by these days. It's a good job if you can get it, but it's a
yeah, I don't
rarity.
think I like that. Yeah.
It's rare as hen's teeth. And like I don't know. We know where this goes. Alabama should be better than this.
Mm, yeah.
It was first the color of your skin and then who you sleep with, and now we're back to the color of your skin. Well, I mean, you're not going to know what to do with me, what category to put me in. If I got a little suntan, if I got some dreadlocks in, you're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Like, who is Cletus over here? So I just don't trust the good old boys policing the neighborhood at night. Like, am I going to have
Yeah.
to move to the ghetto, in town to be safe?
Yeah, it
Um,
has to be a state of the rule of law, not the rule of,
right. And I saw
arbitrary. Yeah.
where it was written into one of those executive actions, orders, whatever Donald's
Mm,
signing up there,
with the
and it was
Sharpie.
right, that part. Um, did it, I just lost it completely where I was going.
It's okay. It will come back.
Yes, yes. But
So I
anyway,
wanted,
it's
yeah.
his executive order. It's telling states it's in their best interest to take up
Oh,
the slack where they can't provide ice because they've cut it out of the budget for the good old boy. So it's not just in Alabama. Alabama's just quickly picking it up because that's something
mm-hmm,
we're good at. So
mm-hmm. Because it could be in
anyway,
other states as well. And he's got
right. It
this
could,
way of, yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a bad example, go ahead and watch Alabama. It's not trending well.
Hmm. But I have good news.
Yes.
There's this wonderful show, a storytelling event that's organized by WLRH, the local state radio station in Huntsville, and it's part of the Sundial Writers Series, and it's on
Hmm.
June 17th at the U.S. Rocket and Space Center. And the show is called Between Light and Darkness, and it's storytellers telling their stories live on stage, and I will be one of them.
Oh,
Yay!
yay!
So I know that we have a few people who watch this who are in Huntsville. And oh, look, we have our. I have not introduced you to my cat yet. It's not actually my cat. This is my grand cat. This is Catherine's cat. But you
Oh,
could see her in the window. This is Boots. She wanted to
hey,
make sure
Boots.
people saw her.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll be one of the storytellers at that event. It'll be great. And what I like is so it's at the planetarium, and
Yes.
I'll put a link to it if people want to come by and see this. What I liked about this place is that you get space themed drinks. And last time I had something, I forget what it was called, but there was a vodka and it was pink. Anyway, it was good. And
Oh,
so I have to try a new drink, a new
that's right.
cocktail
A new
that's like
space
space
drink.
based. Yeah, yeah. So that will be fun. So that's the piece of good news. And then we had the king
So,
and queen in
but
town.
yes. And do
Oh,
we know what
but you
story
wanted
you're
to ask
telling?
something.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Well, it's not announced yet, but it's on the
Okay.
theme
So,
of between, yeah, between light
okay.
and darkness.
All right.
And it's a story that means a lot to me.
Yay.
It's
Well,
not going to be super funny. It's a significant story in my, anyway. So
okay. We will listen out.
yeah, and for those who can't make it or are out of town, there's also a radio special that will be
Good.
broadcast on WLRH, and I'll be able to post a link to that when mine comes out. So and the others as well. So they'll do a special show on the radio as well with all those stories. So that'll be fun.
Cool. Cool.
Hmm. So do you want to know about our king?
Yes. And the jewelry. It was fabulous.
Did you look at the
I
brooch that she had?
did.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
this is kind of a thing with royalty when they show up. They all like these. There's always kind of a statement.
A symbolism is hidden in the jewelry always.
Or in the tiaras, or and there's
Hmm.
always something that's typically Canadian, and the Queen was very good at that, of always wearing something that was either designed by a Canadian, typically would have been designed by a Canadian, Canadian made, or with a design that is very much about the country. So, and she would do that with all the countries in the Commonwealth and wherever she visits or visited, because that's really, I mean, it's imagine you're in that role where you can't be political, you can't say anything, you're restricted to these little top, yeah, with this laughter smile on your face.
Hmm.
So there's so few ways of expressing themselves
They could do
that
it
when they can't,
quietly.
that's right. So when they can, and they make a point of doing that, but I wouldn't want that life for all the money in the world. But anyway, the
I
visit
don't
went
know.
about as well as it could have gone. I didn't think it was a great idea at first to invite the king to read the speech from the throne, but it was well received. So I guess I was wrong about that. I thought it was a mistake.
I saw
Um,
that goofy Donald Trump was
I know.
tweeting, or nobody's even talking to you, Donald. Shut up. Like they're just up there doing their thing and plying with their jewelry, and he's mad tweeting down here in the States. I'm like,
Yeah,
just
I
stop.
know. He's covered in loser dust at this point
Yes, but
because
her pearl
people don't really.
necklace that she
Yeah,
wore, oh, it was beautiful. The three strand.
yeah, you like that? Okay.
It was a
Hmm.
good one. So let's talk
Okay.
about something that's really important.
Okay.
The little newspaper article that came out this morning in a
Yes.
Canadian newspaper. Let's talk about that. Let's
Uh-huh.
toot our
So
horn.
okay. So it's about this. This has got to be the last review copy that I have.
Right,
So
come
this is
on
the
with it.
book. Yeah, I know. I have to release it and make it available for sale and have a few copies that I can bring down to Alabama with me next week.
Yay.
But when I tweeted about the first review copies that arrived last week, and so I got a reporter from the Hill Times newspaper get in touch with me, say, "Hey, a book," because Bruce Fanjoy, the man whose story this is, is a star now on the
He's a
hill.
big
Like you have to
deal.
understand,
Like,
he's a big deal, and
if you
and he's
don't
still getting
know, I
used
mean,
to
let's
this.
get
Yeah.
Wikipedia out. Yes, you need to know who
No.
he is.
He's the Dragon Slayer, and like he's got a standing ovation the first time you made a statement in the house. Like he's everybody's star, and
Yeah.
he's such a lovely person. Like he called me up and he says, "I am not getting used to this. Like this is weird for me to see myself on the cover of a book." But I said, "Well, it's your story. It's a great story. People are interested, and again, it's short. I wrote this in 3 weeks, so but you can read it on the commute
Right.
if you're taking the bus because they're so slow in Ottawa, so you have time to finish the book. But I wanted to tell people the story of how he did it and why. I mean, first because people are interested, but also it really is to show that when you're trying to do the right thing and you're doing it for the right reasons, you surround yourself with the right people who have the same motivation in doing something, that it will work. It
It's
can work. Together we can do hard things. That's a thing that Bruce says a lot. And I wanted that book to be out there as a bit of an inspiration for anybody who might think, well, there's something here. Somebody needs to do something. Oh, I'll pull a Fanjoy, right? And why not? So this is anyway. So it's yeah, it's there's a lot of interest. So I have to get this out there because
that's right.
people really want to read it, and I'm delighted and very grateful for the interest in this. I'm also working on the French version because I never
Yeah,
half-ass anything,
that's right.
and obviously in Quebec, that's not a story that's as understood because of the language barrier for some people. So I wanted to make that story accessible to Quebecers who are interested but don't speak good enough English to read the English version. So since I can do it in both languages, I thought,
Why not?
why not?
That's right. When Bruce
Hmm.
Fanjoy keeps growing and growing and he needs a stylist, tell him you know a good homosexual from down south that
It
can
was,
help him navigate those treacherous waters of fashion.
oh yeah, I will make sure he knows that. He knows that he's
Yes.
a bit of a star in Huntsville,
Right.
Alabama too.
You can
So yeah.
you can call Bruce. I'm available for travel.
No. Well, we have to get you up here at some point,
Yes,
Phil,
we're talking about
especially in the
vacations
summer.
now. Right.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
that would
because
be a
it's
good
nice and
stopover.
cool.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. What are
Okay.
you looking forward to this week?
What is this week? I really have no idea. I just kind of fly by the seat of
It
my
just,
pants most
yeah.
weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or
Um,
the expression up here is, I don't know if you've heard that or if it's a common expression. I'm the only one who doesn't know it. It is building the plane in the air.
yes, that's how we're going this week. So
Right.
so we'll see. You
That's
just
fun.
never know in Huntsville, yeah. And then we get a
Right.
big visit next week. So
That's right. And a friend
that's
of mine
right.
is also taking me to this new restaurant. So I just wanted to mention it. Oh, now I forget the name of it, but it's 111 Washington. It's next door to the bottle. And my friend posted all kinds of nice pictures about it.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
yeah, so I'm going there with him next week. Yeah, next week.
Okay.
So it'll be
So you'll
great.
have to
Yeah,
you'll have to schedule us for one night.
absolutely. But then we have to find a different place too, because I like trying different
That's
places. Or
right.
maybe
There's
we'll go there too. I don't know.
plenty of
Yeah.
places. Yes.
So yes, I look forward to that.
Yay! We can't
Okay.
wait, and we can't wait to hear your story.
Yeah, that will be fun, I
Yes.
think.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be
Well,
there.
lovely
Okay.
talking to you. Okay,
Yes. Have a great week. Bye,
you
Canada.
too.
Mwah.